Hello learners! Magandang araw! Maupay na adlaw. I am Teacher Ren, your science teacher. How are you doing? I hope you are all doing great. I'm here to share another fun lesson to you. So, I hope that you'll stay until the end of my lesson. Okay? Alright. Anyway, here are some few reminders before we start with our lesson proper.
First, find a cozy, quiet room to study in. Then, bring a pen and notebook with you. Get your PAR map copy as well. Finally, sit back, listen, and watch attentively. If you have questions as we go along with our lesson, please jot them down for now. Alright, I think everything is set now. Let's start. Our topic for today is tracing typhoons in the Philippine area of responsibility. Generally, you should be able to trace the path of typhoons that enter the Philippine area of responsibility or PAR using a map and tracking data. And specifically, we have the following objectives to be achieved. Explain what is meant when a typhoon has entered the Philippine area of responsibility. Determine the path of a tropical cyclone given the latitude and longitude positions, and explain why PAGASA regularly monitors when a tropical cyclone is within the Philippine area of responsibility. Is everything clear? That's good. Let's proceed to the next part.
I have something to show you. Can you take a look and give its name? Really? Alright. Can you tell me the name of this? That's right. It is a map. Specifically, it is a Philippine map. Good job. You were able to guess what is in the picture. What is it again? That's right. It is a Philippine map. But it is not the map that we usually see because it has lines. What are these lines called again? That's right. So you can still remember. These lines are called lines of latitude and lines of longitude.
Let's have a short unlocking and review of words. Lines of longitude. Well, these are the vertical lines running from the North Pole to the South Pole and are perpendicular to the lines of latitude. These lines are also called meridians. Meridians are measured in degrees, minutes, and seconds. But for this lesson, we are just going to use degrees. The north-south line that marks 0 degrees longitude passes through Greenwich Island. This is called the Greenwich or the prime meridian. It is called prime meridian because, as the name implies, prime means main or most important. Meridians are used to measure distance in degrees east or west from the prime meridian, or left or right of the prime meridian. The prime meridian is 0 degrees longitude, so meaning it is the reference point. The 180th meridian is the line of longitude that is exactly opposite the prime meridian. So, sa madaling salita, ito yung nasa bandang likod na parte ng prime meridian. It is 180 degrees longitude. Lines of longitude east of the prime meridian are numbered from 1 to 179 east, and lines of longitude west of the prime meridian are numbered from 1 to 179 degrees west. Okay? Now, lines of latitude. These are used to describe positions north or south of the equator. I know we are all familiar with the equator. Well, the equator is halfway between the North Pole and the South Pole. Lines of latitude circle the Earth parallel to the equator. For this reason, they are also called parallels or pahiga ng mga linya. The distance between each parallel is also measured in degrees, same as with the lines of longitude. Okay? Now, together, the lines of latitude and longitude can describe the location of any place on Earth. As you can see on the picture, the lines of longitude and the lines of latitude are perpendicular or they are meeting together, right? So we can know the location, the exact location of a place if we use the lines of longitude and lines of latitude. Now, for example, our very own municipality, the Harulete. Harulete, Philippines is located at 11.18745 degrees north and 124.78227 degrees east. Now, these two numbers together are called coordinates. So if we get a map, we can get the exact location of a place, say for example, Harolete, using these points. Okay? So again, these 2 points, they are called as coordinates.
So, were you able to recall these helpful words and phrases now? Good job! How about PAGASA?
Well, PAGASA stands for Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration. It is a national service institution under the Department of Science and Technology, or DOST. It is tasked to do the following. First, they are tasked to monitor the weather and climate of the country. So they are always giving updates, provide information to the public about typhoon and flood warnings, deliver weather forecasts and advisories, and provide facts related to the climatology, meteorology, and astronomy. Generally, the PAGASA is tasked to monitor the occurrences of tropical cyclones and other weather disturbances within the Philippine Area of Responsibility. Now, what is Philippine Area of Responsibility, or PAR? Well, PAR is an area in the northwestern Pacific where it is often observed whenever a weather disturbance, specifically in the case of tropical cyclones, enter this area and eventually be given locally specific names. PAR is surrounded by the following points. So they are highlighted in the map. And if we are going to connect these 6 points, we are going to have the Philippine Area of Responsibility. Now, if you still remember Mang Tani's line every time he gives weather updates, ang LPA papasok sa Philippine Area of Responsibility at may posibilidad na maging bagyo. In other words, when a weather disturbance enters the Philippine Area of Responsibility, PAGASA begins to monitor it. Now, have a good look at the PAR map. Is the importance of PAR clear to you? Good.
Now, using what we have learned about PAR and coordinates, let us combine these concepts to trace the path of a typhoon. Are you ready? That's good to hear. Well, prepare your PAR gap and your pencil or pen.
Using your PAR map and pencil, let us trace the track of Bagyong Rosing, which was one of the strongest storms to ever hit the Philippines. Let's see which parts of the country did Rosing hit. Let us follow the following procedures. First, let us plot the given points of the typhoon shown in the table. So we have there the date, time, latitude, longitude, and the wind speed, which is expressed in kilometers per hour. Let's start with the latitude. First, we have there 14.4 degrees north and followed by the longitude, which is 125.9 degrees east. So plot it in your PAR map. Now, do the next coordinates. Do this carefully and accurately as possible. Next, connect the plotted points. Make your output neat and presentable. Okay, I'll be giving you time to do your activity. Well, do you see a similar track with this? Really? Very good. Now, can you tell me which places did Bagyong Rosing hit? That's right. It mainly hit the Luzon, including the provinces of Bicol and Metro Manila. Now, let us know what classification of tropical cyclone Bagyong Rosing was. The intensity of tropical cyclones varies, so we can classify them based upon their degree of intensity or strength. The classification of tropical cyclones according to the strength of the associated winds as adopted by PAGASA. We have tropical depression if it has winds of up to 61 kilometers per hour. Tropical cyclones if it has winds of up to 62 to 88 kilometers per hour. Next is severe tropical storm if it has winds of up to 89 to 117 kilometers per hour, followed by typhoon if it has winds of up to 118 to 220 kilometers per hour, and lastly, the strongest one, it is a super typhoon if the weather disturbance has winds that exceeds 220 kilometers per hour. Now, going back to Bagyong Hussein, it had a sustained wind speed of 260 kilometers per hour. Now, what do you think is its classification? Correct. It was a super typhoon. It was actually one of the strongest typhoons in the Philippines to hit land. And of course, the most unforgettable super typhoon for us was Yolanda or Haiyan that made landfall on November 8, 2013, with wind speeds ranging from 230 kilometers per hour to 315 kilometers per hour. Typhoon Yolanda caused widespread destruction and storm surges all over the Philippines. Well, going back, I hope you understand the different classifications of tropical cyclones. Now, let us know the different tropical cyclone warning signals. Public storm warning signals are raised to warn the public of incoming weather disturbances. Once a storm signal is raised, conditions are not yet necessarily felt in the given area. Now, the following are the lead times for issuing a public storm signal. First, we have here public storm warning signal number 1. The first signal indicates that the area affected should expect intermittent rains or kalat-kalat na pagulan at least 36 hours. Winds of 30 kilometers to 60 kilometers per hour should be expected. As a precaution, classes in all public and private preschools are automatically suspended. Signal number 2. The second warning signal is raised in areas that will experience winds of 61 to 120 kilometers per hour within at least 24 hours. Now, there will be light to moderate damage that is expected, and some trees may be uprooted and roofs are blown away. Classes from preschool to high school are suspended. Next, signal number 3. When the third warning signal is raised, people are advised to seek shelter inside strong buildings, and they should evacuate if they are living in low-lying areas and stay away from coasts and riverbanks as moderate to heavy damage is expected. Now, winds of 121 kilometers per hour to 170 kilometers per hour are expected within at least 18 hours. Classes at all levels are automatically suspended. Now, for signal number 4, the fourth signal indicates that a very intense typhoon with winds of more than 171 to 220 kilometers per hour are expected, and large trees are expected to be uprooted, and residential and institutional buildings could be severely damaged. Travels and outdoor activities should be cancelled. Lastly, the recently added storm warning signal number 5 is raised when a super typhoon will affect an area. Very powerful winds of more than 220 kilometers per hour may be expected in at least 12 hours. This typhoon is extremely destructive. Now, remember that as the weather disturbance moves through the Philippine Area of Responsibility, or PAR, public storm signals may be upgraded or downgraded. To further help citizens prepare from heavy rains and flooding, PAGASA also has the following color-coded rainfall or storm surge advisory system. Well, I know you are very much familiar with these because when a public storm warning signal is raised in your area, you receive a text message from NDRRMC, and these are examples. Now, let's try to know each of them. Red rainfall advisory. This rainfall advisory is issued when downpours constitute an emergency. It is raised when the torrential rainfall is more than 30 millimeters within 1 hour, or if it has continued for the past 3 hours and has risen to more than 65 millimeters. And storm surges over 3 meters high are expected. Next, orange rainfall advisory. Intense rains of 15 to 30 millimeters are expected within 1 hour, and flooding is considered a definite threat in communities under this alert. And lastly, yellow rainfall advisory. Citizens should expect flooding in low-lying areas as 7.5 to 15 millimeters of rainfall is expected within 1 hour and is likely to continue in the next 2 hours. Everyone is advised to monitor the weather condition because the rainfall warning could be raised.
Can you jumble these letters to form a word that is very much relevant to our topic? Alright, I will give you 10 seconds to answer. Now, can you tell me your answer? That's right, the word is proactive. Have you ever heard of the word proactive before? What does it mean?
According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, proactive means having or showing awareness of and preparation for the future. But how does being proactive related with our lesson? Exactly. We must be more proactive against tropical cyclones and other disasters to avoid or minimize the loss of human lives and property amid these disasters. As what we usually hear, maging handa sa sakuna. How about you? Do you consider yourself proactive against bagyo? How about your family? Well, if not, I think it's the right time to be proactive. And if yes, you're on the right track. Keep it up.
Well, that's the end of our lesson. Were you able to grasp everything? That's great. Well, if you have questions, you can send them through a text or chat. You can find my contact details in your activity sheet. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for listening. Stay safe and God bless us all.